Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole, and my partner Diana and I will be presenting to you the development of each team's project over the course of the semester. With the increasing need of affordable dwellings, many large public projects were built over multiple city blocks, interrupting the local grid. Fairgate Houses, site of our studio project, instead organized the towers according to sunlight and the desire to create public green spaces. The large, strict fences surrounding the green spaces reinforces the feelings of boundaries and isolation. Currently, there is a disjunction between the existing Farragut towers and the landscape. The intent is to design a housing project that blurs the boundary between the two and connects not only to the other Farragut towers, but to neighboring communities. We initially started by individually creating a map collage to analyze and introduce intermediate scales. Some groups used their collage to bridge the connection between the Farragut houses and the neighboring communities, while others uncovered historical facts that influenced their design. Overall, our projects have a wide range of typologies, programmatic organization, public and private separations, unit layouts, and connections to the existing Farragut houses. The typologies of the projects in our studio varied greatly between having vertical and horizontal expansions, central and dispersed cores, as well as single-loaded and double-loaded corridors. Interestingly, some projects in our studio focused on blurring the boundaries between different programmatic elements to create opportunities for diverse groups of people to interact. That being said, many projects in our studio seem to follow a more typical system of programmatic organization by having commercial space at the base, followed by office spaces and residential areas.
Some projects have more definitive boundaries between public and private spaces, while others attempted to create a more blended program to allow for more interface between residents and other members of the community. Many projects in our studio physically collide or merge with the Farragut houses, while others attempt to establish a more visual or symbolic connection between the existing buildings and the greater site. Zooming in more specifically into the individual unit types, a variety of our class projects wanted to maximize the amount of natural sunlight received by each apartment unit. Additionally, some plans follow a more strict organizational system by having standardized unit layouts, which repeat and rotate throughout the building, while others have more irregular systems with units which are unique to each floor. Generally, throughout each project, there is an emphasis on maximizing the amount of space within each apartment, but still allowing for open common spaces. Honing in on each individual project, Nicole and I would like to start off by presenting to you our proposal to design a housing project that reconfigures the landscape, redefines community and education through greenhouses and biological labs, reshapes the connection to the nearby Farragut Tower, and overall, through the use of landscape, blurs the boundaries between different communities in order to bring people together.
There's an interesting juxtaposition to be analyzed between inside and outside, individual and society, private and public, the natural world, and the urban environment. Our concept focuses on natural versus unnatural elements and how the interweaving of these components influences the fabric of the communities. This next project is by Audrey Tuck and Andrew Mickelson. Bulkland Tower derives originating massing and programmatic initiative from organic forms and agricultural land use occurring on the site through the majority of its history. This form was then arrayed to reflect the pentagonal organization of units and circulation in each Farragut house. The subterranean base contains a vertical farm which extends up through the ground level lobby and second level co-working space to transition to a resident amenity floor and subsequent residences. The organization of units within the tower is controlled by a parametric fenestration system, also derived from the original forms of the landscape. This system arrays 1- and 2-story openings according to a pattern allowing for effective layout and daylighting of studio to 3-bedroom units. This next project is by Juyun Park and Tamar Salinger. The project acts as an extension to the Farragut housing, a horizontal and elevated system which spreads between the existing trees, connects to the Farragut housing, and offers public spaces and a new type of dense living. In response to the climate change disruptions and catastrophes, the initial point of the project is to allow the greenery and trees of the site to be a safe zone in times of flooding, and the mass is spread in between the existing trees and greenery of the site. Through an idea of a trail, public and private programs are integrated into the residential functions, connecting the entire building for both the residents and the local neighborhood. The spreading and elevated massing of the housing is achieved through vertical elements of structure, infrastructure, cores, and greenery which connect the residential system.
This next project is Bayard and King Song Bang. The project is inspired by the urban fabric of the site, absorbing the site into the intersection of scale, context, and program where it lies. A framework of homogeneous forms interact together, creating unity and division. A binary circulation program creates a programmatic hierarchy and defines the public and private spaces. It creates a network connecting the open spaces and different zones of the building. The next project is by Danielle Pelletier and Dana Sari. The objective of this project is to restore the relationship with water that the Farragut residents once shared with the East River prior to the high-end residential developments in Dumbo. Rather than building around climate change, which implicates that the flood risk on our site will significantly increase within the next 60 years, we wanted a design that would alleviate flood risk and even celebrate rainwater. Not dissimilar to rain gardens, the building absorbs water through natural green space and redirects its flow, which intertwines and engages with the flow of pedestrians all the way from the site to the building. Thank you.